What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pure Buckets podcast. It's me, Vipin, back at it again with
The Smelly Mac, PMC
uh,
himself.
the usual two. We had a third member. He kind of died. You know how it goes.
Goodbye, Rohan.
Yeah. And today we have a pretty interesting topic. We both made lists predicting like the final seasons, the seedings at the end of the season, and basically predicting like the rankings for the playoffs, right? So we both have our lists, and we're gonna be discussing that today. And I think we'll also be touching on like playoffs, like sleepers or like potential busts. So I think today would be a pretty interesting episode. We just go straight into the list then.
Of course, let's run it.
All right.
All right, so basically, I
I
came up with this idea. I was like, you know what? There's only every team has like 6 to 7 games left in the season, and we never like did like a. I don't think we didn't ever do like a beginning of the season prediction of like seeding. So this is something that we definitely should do though going forward. And we're coming up. We're gonna have another banger video after this one, where when the season's done, me and Vip are gonna make our official on record predictions for the entire postseason. So that'll be dropping before the play-in. That'll be really cool. But so yeah, for right now though, I came up with the idea. I was like, let's just do like let's just see what happens. I mean, not much. There's not. I mean, there's only 6 to 7 games, so it's not gonna be like crazy amounts of variation. Like it's not like, it's not like my Hornets are gonna go all the way up to like the 4 seed. You know what I'm saying? But we just want to see where we're at, because I did make some switches. Because I'll tell you, like right now, like my list isn't identical to what the standings are right now. Cause you must have looked at the standings right before doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. But yeah. So
I did have honestly. I had some changes.
okay.
A lot more in the West than the East.
Yeah. So let's actually do the West first, because I feel like the West right now is more. It's kind of hard to say
Way
this, but it's more
a
like.
lot closer.
No, I think the East is closer.
Really.
Yeah, because there's 4 teams that are fighting for the. They're like a game with each other for the 1 seed.
I was thinking on the West, like the 4 through like 6 seed is really close.
Fair.
And 4 is not that far from 3 either. So like, but I think
Mm-hmm.
so you'll talk about it.
All right, so we'll just do the first one. Obviously, the first one we don't really need to talk over is the Phoenix Suns, because they've already clinched the 1 seed. So I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
We can just I have like the Suns pulled up right now on like the basketball reference.
That's
There's not really much else we could say. Obviously, we'll touch on it later, because we also are going to be touching on some sleepers or potential busts. So maybe the Suns could be in that list, I guess, if one of us feels like that. But I mean, the Suns are pretty legit right now. So I mean, and they're getting Chris Paul just came back, didn't he?
61-14 right now, which is absolutely nuts. And they're,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the schedule. Today they play the Warriors. After that, the Grizzlies. So they have some decently hard games coming up. But then they play some bum teams like the Lakers and the Clippers.
It depends on how you gauge it, right?
Yeah, I think they could get in with like a
Well, because
64 win season.
Because I looked through like all the teams and like the remaining opponents, and it depends. Like I can't really ever like look at a game and be like, oh, they are for sure winning or they're for sure losing. Like anything can happen, but it was just kind of like more like, oh, they're playing a tougher team, and then they're playing another tough team.
That's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah, it depends on like the strength of schedule really. And obviously some teams do have injuries right now, so I feel like for example, like I feel like the injuries really does impact, like for me at least, the Cavaliers a lot right now. So they may like fall off kind of thing, but just for the Suns, obviously there's no prediction there. Like it's already locked in, so it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, number 2. What do you think you got over there?
I had the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
they're basically locked, I feel like.
I think so. They are up 5 games from the Warriors, like win-wise, and I don't think that gap will change.
Yeah, they only have 6 games left to play, so the only way it would reverse, obviously, is
they lose all of them. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that's happening. They lose all of them, and the Warriors win all theirs. It's just not happening.
Yeah, there's no way, especially considering obviously like the whole stat about like how even if Ja doesn't play, the Grizzlies are just that good.
Yeah, their best player, they're still go even without him. So that's crazy.
Have you seen the stat? I've been looking at like the stat about it, and now they're starting to flip a narrative, because remember the whole thing was like people were starting to like hate on Ja because like obviously they hated on him because without him his team was like unstoppable still, and they had like crazy defensive efficiency and stuff like that. But now it's actually being shown like Like, so the Grizzlies, let's say without Ja this season, they've been 17-2 right now, I think, or something like that, 18-2, something ridiculous, right? But now they're showing like the teams that they actually beat in that 20 game stretch where they went 18-2 without Ja, and it's all like bum teams or teams that are good but are missing like star players. Let me see if I can pull it up. But it's so. What do you think about that though? Do you think like that flips the narrative a little bit, or is it kind of like I feel like you can't really fault a team for playing against injured teams or bad teams.
It's not their. It's not on them. It's just is what it is. Like reminds you of like the narrative. Like a lot of times when people like last year when the Bucks won, everyone's like, oh, they're all like they played a bunch of injured teams. It was fraud and all that. It doesn't matter if they play injured teams. Like sure you can
Yeah.
take it into account, but like
But do you
what?
think if like the team without Ja played an actual like I guess quote unquote good team or full strength team, would it be the same result as 18-2 right now? Let me tell you this list. Ready? Without Ja this season, the Grizzlies team has beat the Rockets twice, the Kings twice, the Pacers twice, the Blazers, the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Raptors. Which the Raptors are actually a good team. So that's like the one. I'm like, yeah, Raptors are good. They also beat the Nets as well. So those are like the two like quality wins I think without Ja. And then the other ones are kind of they're kind of excuse based, but it's like the Thunder without Shea, Clippers without PG, Mavs without Luka, Heat without Bam, Sixers no Embiid, and then the Bucks without Drew Holiday.
Based on that like list alone,
Yeah.
you can come to a conclusion that yeah they because clearly they didn't beat. Like I didn't see the Suns on there. I didn't see the Bucks on there. I didn't see like
Well, the Bucks are there, but it's without Drew, so they still had to beat
yeah,
Giannis.
like fully healthy. Yeah. Still, I think in the playoffs, especially if they don't have Ja, it won't matter. They will lose.
Mm-hmm.
Ja's kind of what like they're already really good without him, but when he's there, he elevates them to like the next level.
They're like the
So
offensive game is just so it's just such a different look. I feel like, and they need like consistency, especially because if Ja's like in and out of games. I feel like it actually kind of as weirdly enough as it might say, just because of like obviously that record without Ja. I feel like in the postseason, if Ja is like out of game and then he comes in the game, just because of like a lingering injury kind of thing, like he's been dealing with, I feel like it's gonna mess up a lot of their offensive flow. It'll just be kind of like they won't seem like themselves. At least I think.
yeah, I can see that I guess.
Fair enough. So
What
we both got the
do you
Suns at 1,
think?
Grizzlies 2. Yeah. Do I think
How?
what?
So I think we can all agree that they are in the contender category, right?
Mm.
But would you put them on the same level of contender as like the Bucks, Sixers, not Sixers, maybe Sixers probably, but like Bucks, Suns, that kind of level?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is like the pinnacle team right now?
Best team in the NBA?
Yeah, who's the because you say like you're saying are the Grizzlies this certain level? Who is the pinnacle?
That's so tough.
Like would it be the Suns?
Suns or Bucks, in my opinion.
Okay, because I say the Grizzlies are on the same level as the Suns.
Hmm.
So but you're saying like are they on that level? I say yes, they are. Because I think they have as much of a chance to compete and as high of a chances to win as does Phoenix.
I disagree with that. I don't think they do. They definitely have a chance, but I don't think it's as high as like Phoenix or any of the or like the Bucks or
Do
something.
you think it's like because this is the side of the argument I could totally understand. Do you think it's like an inexperienced thing?
Yeah. The Grizzlies are a really young team, right?
Yeah, their most
They're
experienced
like
player
a
is Steven
homegrown
Adams.
drafted team. Yeah, they're like a homegrown drafted team, right? And you're putting them against teams with like guys that have been to the finals, guys that have like played a long time. Like Chris Paul has played a long time in the league, a lot of time in the playoffs too. Versus the Grizzlies team that I think has like no experience in the playoffs. I think Ja played in the play-in. Did they make the playoffs? I forgot.
Who?
They did, right?
Last season,
Grizzlies
yeah,
last
the
year?
Grizzlies last year made it. Remember they won
Yeah, they
game
played a
1 on
first
the
round
road in
series.
Utah, and then they got swept. Like they got 4 after the first game, so it was finished 4-1.
Exactly. That's not very much experience.
Yeah, but it was.
But they're obviously still a really
a
good
big
team.
flash that first game with Ja. He carried them.
Yeah.
He carried them.
I think it'll be really interesting to see how Ja performs in this playoffs.
Yeah.
Especially since they're playing better this year than they were last year. They're like the supporting cast has been playing better too.
Yep.
It'll be really interesting.
Okay, so we both have Suns. Obviously, well, Suns is clinched, and then we both have Grizzlies too because they're likely clinched. Now this is where it's
Yep.
gonna get interesting. So what do you think about the 3, Vibin?
My 3 was different than the actual standings right now.
Mine was 2.
I have the Mavericks at 3.
Yeah, I do too.
So the reason I came to this conclusion, right? I was looking at who they're playing, right, and how like they're already doing.
Yeah.
So Warriors, is Curry still in that slump? He is, right?
Wait, do you want to just say? Wait, do you have Warriors 4?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we both have the same top 4 right now. So then we can, because then just so we're saying that we can actually like compare the two.
Yeah. I was because those two are really close in my opinion,
Yeah.
and I just think I looked at the schedule of the Mavs, right, and the teams they play. Like the best teams that they play in like the final games is the Cavs and Bucks. I
Yeah.
think they could beat the Cavs because they're injury ridden.
Exactly.
The Bucks, I don't think they could beat, but maybe we'll see. And then they play the Wizards, the Pistons, the Spurs, and Blazers. Those are all free wins, I think. I think they'll win all of those. So realistically, they win 5 out of 7.
Realistically, wait, who? The
Oh
Mavericks?
no, 4 out of 7.
Wait, you
4
talking
out of
about
6.
wait, who are you talking about? Yeah, 6. That's 6.
The Mavs.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just 6 games left. So
So
they win 4 out
wait.
of 6, I think.
You said they lose to the Bucks and maybe the Cavs.
Yeah, that one's I'm not sure. I think that could go either way.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, no, actually, since they're injury ridden, I think the Mavs will win that one. So they win 5 out of 6.
I mean, I still feel like even though like, I mean, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. I remember how I said, but that's why I said like, I feel like you can never look at a game and be like, oh, they're for sure winning or they're for sure losing. It's kind of more like a strength of schedule thing because I feel like they're gonna have a tough time in that last game against San Antonio.
They really could. Well, I mean, if you compare it to the schedule that the Warriors are playing,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
the
really.
Warriors
It's
one
a lot
is
more. Warriors are playing the Suns. The Kings they're lower seeded, but they're still definitely a threat, I think, to them. They're playing the Jazz. They're playing, and then the Pelicans, like Lakers too. Maybe LeBron goes crazy. Who knows? Lakers are pretty garbage though, but still, I think their schedule
you have
was.
to understand too. Like Steph Curry's out for the rest of the regular season, I think. So yeah, because he's been out for the last 12 days, right?
What even happened to him?
Yeah, his foot. So he's been out for 12 days, and he's going to be reevaluated, I think, on Friday. But, there's no way. I feel like there's no reason for them to. I mean, they're already in the playoffs, So there's no reason really for them to like play Curry. I guess that's my like opinion. So I don't think they'll play him, and they're down to. Also, I don't even know if you know this, but the Warriors obviously remember at the beginning of the season, everyone was like they were that team. Like they came out of nowhere because no one really expected the Warriors to be this good again. But since the All-Star break, they're 6-11.
I don't know what's up with them, honestly. Ever since Steph
Well, Draymond's been down.
3-point record, he's been downhill. And Clay's been playing pretty decent, right?
Yeah, he's all right. But there's actually their last 22 games, 7-15.
It's rough.
And before that, they were 41-13.
So literally like almost all of their wins.
Yeah, over half of their
Before the
losses
All-Star
have come just right before plus after the All-Star break, which is kind of insane to think about. But yeah, and again, it's like obviously like I think this is kind of just proving the case that Draymond is literally the glue of this team. But I mean, we're not really here to talk about Draymond, but I don't know. It's just I said the same thing though. I was looking at it, I was like, I don't see how the Warriors, because they're only a game up on the Mavs right now, and I was like, I don't see how the Warriors can maintain the 3 seed safely enough to where the Mavericks aren't going to overtake
playing
them.
in with the injured Steph Curry, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
Especially with the more difficult schedule too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they're not in a good spot to hold that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think they really care about. Like, well, who cares? 4 or 5 seed, no one cares.
Yeah.
Or 3 and 4 seed doesn't matter, right?
Well, obviously it affects
Yeah.
like who you
Well,
play,
seedings,
obviously, but either way, 3 or 4, the Warriors still get home field advantage for the first game.
Yeah.
So, and either way, it just depends. I mean, either way, they're gonna have to go through either the Suns or the Grizzlies, theoretically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have Suns, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Warriors. All right, let's go to our 5. Who you got for the 5, Ibn?
I've also had another change.
Okay.
I have the Nuggets at 5.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. The Nuggets. If you've been looking at what Jokic has been doing, it's absolutely unbelievable. This guy
we've talked about Jokic
so
too much.
good.
Well, not too much. We've talked about him a lot, is what I will say.
He's just so good, though. Right?
No, facts.
I think what did he do? Was it yesterday or like recently? He popped off in a game. I forgot what he. Let me see.
me take a look at this. His last game he played, he scored 26. He had 19 rebounds and 11 assists. Jesus.
Averaging over the last 13 games, Jokic is averaging 30, 12.5, 8.2, 1.6 steals per game, 1.5 blocks per game, shooting 61% on the field, dude. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, last night, was it last night? Yeah, 2 nights ago when he played Charlotte was the most rebounds he's had in a game in 2 months.
What was it?
He had 19.
Man.
I mean, that makes sense, like, because Charlotte's big as Montrezl Harrell, so, like, he's like a 6'8 center. He's more of an offensive-minded center. It's like, what do we, Jokic just dominates that game. That's why they won, honestly, is because Jokic went balled out.
You think he's going to win MVP?
Jokic?
Yeah, what you think? I don't think Embiid's winning anymore. His chances were blown.
You think that's just because of the game yesterday?
Oh, yeah, you saw what happened when he played Giannis. He got smacked.
What was a close game?
Yeah, but you saw what Giannis did at the end in the clutch?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
that was crazy.
I mean, Giannis dropped 40 and, like, 14 on his head, so, like, But,
So, yeah, Giannis clearly outplayed Embiid. So that means that leaves my MVP down to 2 players. Jokic and Giannis. That's it. Embiid's out of it now. After that, we saw what happened.
I mean, we've had, like, when it came to MVP, I know for me at least, I had Jokic 1 and Giannis 2. Back when we did it. Remember when we did that? Like, the top 10 players in the league or whatever?
I know what I said.
Over a month ago.
I had Giannis 2. I'm not sure, though.
I don't remember where that'd even be. Regardless, I'll try to pull it up, but you can keep talking.
Yeah, let me see exactly what.
No, you had Embiid too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I definitely would not keep that anymore. Because Embiid at that time, I remember he was going dumb.
No,
he's
for
still
sure,
playing
for
well.
sure, yeah.
He's still playing well. But like, head-to-head comparison-wise, if you looked at it and you saw how Giannis played last night versus Embiid, so center versus center matchup. Or Giannis is not center, right? He plays power forward, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but like sometimes they just like kind of like go against each other like that. Like like I'm pretty sure I didn't watch the game last night, but obviously I guarantee there's multiple times when Giannis lined up against.
Yeah, for sure. Just like the big man matchup, right?
Yeah.
Down low, right? And I assume was Giannis guarding Embiid, maybe. Anyways, but we saw what he did. Giannis dropped 40 and 14 or something, and he had the clutch block at the end. The game-tying bucket that Embiid put up, Giannis went up and just swatted that against the glass. It's not happening. I think that game just really shows a lot. Obviously, it's just one game, right?
Yeah.
And I still think Embiid would probably be third.
Yeah.
He's not like, obviously, he's not garbage or anything, but I think he probably moves down one spot. And then, yeah, Giannis would be second. Depending on how these last few games go, Giannis could just squeak above Jokic. I'm not sure, though. I think Jokic will win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know too much how like the media likes a white brother winning back-to-back MVPs, but
you can't ignore what he's doing.
It's not even the white part. It's just that he's like, again, like when you think of the NBA,
a lot of people think he's boring.
Yeah, that's totally understand. And he's like just so unathletic compared to everybody else. Because obviously, like, I feel like it's easy for us to be like, oh, he's the MVP, because to be honest with you, again, like we're not like visually watching most of the games. We're just like looking at like numbers for the most part, and then like looking at highlights, right? But like that's even like rarely kind of highlights. Like we don't go out of our way sometimes. And I feel like for us just to be like, oh yeah, he's the best, right? But if you actually like watch the games, I think like consistently, if you watch like Jokic play versus if you watch Giannis play or you watch Embiid play, I feel like that's what leads to different perspectives on like who is actually like quote unquote the most valuable in the entire league.
The way Jokic plays is like his offensive style is so much more broad than the other two. Because Jokic can like, I'm pretty sure he can shoot the ball pretty well. Go take a look.
Yeah, he does.
Right
he
now.
Shoots 34.5%.
34.5% from the three, 81% from the free throw, which is that's good. It's really good. On
4 3-point attempts a game.
He also has that crazy passing game, right? He's averaging 8 assists. Yeah. So he just generates offense just in so many different ways. Which is important. Giannis also averages a pretty solid amount of assists. What, 5.86? Yeah, but Giannis is more like I'm gonna go into the paint. I'm gonna score. I'm gonna power through. I'm gonna dunk on you. You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jokic's like, oh yeah, I'll like spin around. I'll put up a floater, that kind of thing. Or that if I don't remember if I said his name, but yeah.
I mean we're a little bit off topic right now, but just before we go back, I other than the MVP thing, because you're talking about assists as like a viable stat. I saw a take the other day on Twitter. I got to go to the entire comment section because we could talk about this forever. It was like some verified dude was like, "Yo, everybody, like, give me your basketball takes or whatever like that, right?" And there was a tons of people giving their takes, and there was one dude in the comments that said, he said one of the most like flawed stats or one of the most unreliable stats is when you look at assists. And he said it's because the whole point of an assist is predicated on, like, yeah, you could pass the ball, but obviously it's not a measure of how well you pass it. It's a measure of how well your teammates can shoot.
There is truth to that.
What do you think about that?
There is some truth to that. It is true. Whenever you pass the ball to someone, they have to make the shot, right, for you to get an assist.
Is there not a stat somewhere for like how many failed assists?
I think there is. Let me go look right now in the advanced.
Because I feel like the real stat would be like not like, you don't have to say real, but like, because assist is still a very valuable stat. Like, you know, it's the pass that leads to an actual bucket kind of thing. But a lot of assists, at least in today's modern, is, you know, it's not like a lot of, I feel, at least I think so. It's not a lot of, you know, pass it down and then it leads to an open layup kind of thing. It's a lot of, there's obviously more 3 attempts and there's more, you know, jump shots. And so people are more likely to miss those rather than like a open layup, you know? So the fact that,
I'm looking at the,
but that to me makes it even crazier. Like the fact that like Trae Young and Chris Paul are averaging over 10 a game when these dudes are like focused around, you know, shooting the ball. Again,
I'm
they
not
have,
surprised by Chris
especially
Paul.
Trae Young, to me.
Yeah, Trae Young, yeah, but Chris Paul, he been that guy at
Yeah,
passing.
because Chris Paul's always had like even like this season, like he's DeAndre Hunter, right? So he just, or not DeAndre Hunter, DeAndre Ayton, and so it's like a free outlet. But like Trae Young's big. Who's Trae Young's big? Clint Capella, who's having a decline season, and John Collins is not really a big, I would say, but he's also injured. So I feel like it's impressive that Trae Young is still putting up. What is he putting up, like 10 point something? That to me is very telling of his offense. Yeah, 9.6. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, that was a bit of an MVP tangent for some reason.
All right.
All right. So we have the Nuggets 5, and then does that mean 6? You have Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. So we have the exact same top 6. So those are like, again, that's like no play in. So that's pretty interesting. So we both think that the first round entails Warriors v Nuggets and Mavericks versus Jazz, which the Warriors v Nuggets goes crazy. I feel like
It'll be so entertaining to watch. I'm so excited. This year's playoffs are going to be so good.
I'm actually like really excited. But then what do you think about Jazz Mavericks? Can Luka finally break past the first round if that happened? I think so. I feel like the Jazz are in a bit of a spiral right now.
I really see it. I think it's actually a real possibility.
And you know what I really think about the Mavericks too? This might be like I don't know how much of a real take this is. If the Mavericks play the Jazz, I feel like Rudy Gobert wouldn't be as effective because the Jazz, like Rudy Gobert is like obviously like an incredible defender. Like we know that. And he's so good at shutting down the other team's big. But the Mavericks are like one of the few, like, no, not few, but they're like one of like the leading teams in the league that have no intention really, or like they have no play style centered around any of their bigs. And that's evident because obviously they traded like their one big and Kristaps for another guard. So like they're all guard play and it's all based on Luka. Like what is Gobert gonna do to stop Luka shooting it from half court? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Gobert is he's like a paint lockdown defender kind of guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched this video a while ago. It was like how like Gobert in the playoffs is not nearly as good as he is in the regular season.
Interesting.
Because like teams can like exploit his weaknesses, and his weakness is like perimeter shooting, right? Playing around the perimeter, like
yeah.
Because Gobert is a lot worse of a perimeter defender than he is in the paint, right?
Mm-hmm.
His like lateral quickness is just not there.
Holy cow!
What's up?
You guys might be onto something because I was just looked at something. His regular Gobert's regular season defensive rating every year is like that. It's like that 99 to 104, which it is right now, which is like crazy, right?
In the playoffs.
In playoffs, his last two were 116 and 117.
He's that good in the playoffs, right? Offenses, they will lock down, and they'll look at like, all right, who's the defensive anchor? It's Rudy Gobert. What are we gonna do about him? And then we're gonna do this, and this. and they're gonna exploit his weaknesses, and he's gonna be not nearly as good. He's not
Mm-hmm.
like sure he's a defensive player of the year, but he's not that good in the playoffs. He doesn't play like a defensive player of the year in the playoffs because his weaknesses get exploited by other teams.
I think if it is Mavericks Jazz round one, little teaser for our thing. I think I definitely have the Mavericks finally doing it, just because. Also, I just looked at like the remember I said he has the last two playoffs. He has a 116 defensive rating and a 117. It's because the three teams that he played was that 2019-2020 bubble Nuggets team with Jokic. And so Jokic is not like a typical center. Obviously, he does so much more. I feel like Gobert obviously is not like, I guess you could say used to, right? So Jokic kind of exploited him, and they were out round one, obviously, because that was that crazy Jamal Murray performance. But the second year, obviously, they played Memphis, a team not centered around a center at all last season, and then they played Clippers in the second round, and obviously Clippers are a team where their starting center was Ivica Zubac. So he's played three teams that aren't oriented, or the two teams that aren't oriented around centers, and then you have Jokic, who's like, how do you stop Jokic anyways?
Yep.
So, yeah, Gobert has been exposed.
Gobert is just he's not. I know that he has so many more defensive player of the years than like a lot of players, right? But I still don't think he's as effective of a defender as Giannis is. That's right. I think so. Because in the regular season, sure.
I kind of agree with you as an overall defender. I think I agree.
As an overall, because Giannis, right? Okay, if I put it percentage-wise, Giannis is in the paint. I'd say like 90% of 90 to 95% as good of a paint defender as Gobert. But if you went to the perimeter, he is like, I would say like 25, 30, 40% better than Gobert in the perimeter. Giannis can guard most areas of the court, right? Gobert cannot do that. He can guard the paint slightly better than Giannis, but he is a lot worse at guarding the perimeter than Giannis, which is why I think Giannis is a better defender. Giannis is also quicker, right? Quicker, he's stronger, he's built like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not really an argument that who's better, Gobert or Giannis. That's not really an argument.
I would say just defensively wise.
Yeah.
Offensively, it's not even close, obviously, but like defensively wise, I still think Giannis is better. More versatile, which versatility is super important in the playoffs because if you can do one thing super well in the playoffs, that won't fly. Sure, you're working regular season. In the playoffs, you'll get locked down on your one best thing will get shut down. But if you can do a lot of things really well, then that'll succeed in the playoffs. That's why teams that are focused on one thing, usually tend to fall apart when you get to the playoffs. Like the Hawks from 2015, 60 wins, fell apart in the playoffs.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Well, those are our top 6 in the West. And now let's go into I think what I always think is I actually love how the NBA implemented the
I love the play-in
tournament.
It's so good.
It's
so interesting. So much good content.
So we have the same top 6. So will we have similar 7 through 10s? Vivi gave me a little teaser beforehand, but not too much. So we'll go into it right now. The 7, I'm pretty sure we will probably have the same 7 because it's kind of locked up if we had the other 6. So our first number 7 is, I assume, Minnesota. So,
yep.
Minnesota's balling. Balling.
Timberwolves, right? If you look at the standings, and you go all the way down to Timberwolves at number 7, they're pretty ahead of number 8, and I don't think they're blowing that. So I think they're locked in at number 7. I don't have too much to say about them, honestly.
I'm really interested about how they're finally going to do in the playoffs.
I think they're going to be a first round exit.
Well, I mean, they are a 7 seed, right? So if they win their game against the 8 seed, then that means they play Memphis. And let's say even if they lose and then they win, either way, with our prediction of them being a 7, they have to either play the Suns or Grizzlies round 1. So, it's just a matter of how well will the T-Wolves fare against a Suns or a Grizzlies team. A Grizzlies team, arguably, or I would say definitively the best chemistry in the entire league. And then a Suns team, which is the best team in the league. I mean, how are the Timberwolves going to, compare to that,
What do you think of, where would you say Karl Anthony Towns is right now in the league?
Among bigs, centers, or
Overall.
Well, I will say this one thing: none of us had him in that when we did it a month and a half ago, I think. None of us had him in the top 10 list except for Rohan, who had him at honorable mention, so he didn't even get really anything. But I feel like that's kind of doing him dirty to an extent. I don't think he's top 10. He's definitely not top 10. But I feel like that's so hard to tell, especially when you see like the whole league, because it's kind of like, how do you measure Karl Anthony Towns' effect to like Chris Paul? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you compare those two?
You can't. You
Exactly.
really can't. There's so many two different things, like opposite spectrums. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of like hard to kind of gauge that. That's why I even find it like really tough to even compare within center with Karl Anthony Towns compared to Gobert, just because they're the complete opposite player. Where Towns is so offensively oriented and then Gobert is obviously so defensively oriented. It's like, it's so hard to gauge those two. That's why I accept if people put them either 3 or 4. It's like just totally like personal preference. But I don't know. Among the league, Cat was without a doubt a top 20 player. So,
Yeah, I see top 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then top 15 maybe. I'd have to like sit down and look at all the freaking like numbers. Like obviously Jokic is better, Embiid's better, Giannis is better, Durant's better. I would say Jaw's better. Luka, Devin Booker, Tatum. You think Chris Paul's better? Again, like it's hard to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up too. And then.
I see. So yeah.
What do you think about Bron though?
You have to be kidding me.
Okay, fine. Well, it's just again, it's like a whole. It's a
winning
winning thing.
Why would you compare Bron? Okay, it's not his. It's not Bron's fault. His team sucks.
I mean, you're right.
Nah.
Lewis said something to me before I came here because I was talking to Lewis. He said something. I was actually pretty good. He said he was gonna tell the Lakers fans. He was gonna at them on Twitter and everything. He said I have no sympathy for teams that underperform because you have 82 games to figure it out and you just didn't. That's kind of facts. How are the Lakers, dude? No way they didn't figure it out. It's been, huh?
They're just okay. Also, don't forget the injuries aspect for that team. They're already bad.
Literally just AD.
No, that's not an absolutely crucial part of the team.
No, I know, but he's day to day, every single day.
If he was healthy, they won a championship, right?
Yeah.
If he was healthy this season, like fully, they would definitely beat in the playoffs.
We wouldn't even be having this talk about like other teams. It would just be friggin'.
The fact is, the Lakers have Westbrook, which does not fit in their system, which causes them many problems, right? And that already decreases their winnings, right? And they're also missing their second superstar, Anthony Davis, not there. That just ruins them, right? And LeBron's been in and out. He's been kind of injury this year, so that also causes problems. So that's that's why
Davis is gonna play though in the playoffs. I hope you know that.
If they make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so we both have Minnesota 7. We don't really like. Obviously, it's kind of hard to talk about Minnesota. I'm actually just really happy they're there. Like I'm happy they're at least making the play-in. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do something.
They're 10 games above 500. Or is it 5? I don't know how that works, but because their record is 43-33, so like they're 10 games above 500. That's insane. So they've already finished. They've already if they could lose every game for the rest of the season, and they'd still finish above 500. So they actually have like a winning season. This is Minnesota's like first winning season since.
Back to the KG days.
Like I don't even know.
No, that's not true. They had a winning season in when Butler was there.
Yeah, they did. It was 2017, 2018. But before that one bloop, it was 2004, 2005 season. So this is really impressive, though.
It is impressive. I think they came from nowhere. Karl Anthony Towns played through a lot of adversity to get here. I think they deserve it.
Also, it's a first year. Oh, technically first year. It's his first full year as a head coach. So it's pretty cool, I feel like.
Really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on now. from the 7 to the 8, and the 8 I said earlier. We both probably have the same 8 as well. Because they're kind of locked in. So you got the Clippers. Yeah,
I
alright.
did.
Yeah,
Honestly, I don't have too much to say about the Clips. Just
fair.
they're kind of boring to me, honestly. Kind of boring.
Well, I think they were just boring because Kawhi's out. He's been out for the entire year, and Paul George is out for 3 months.
Just came back.
It just came back and you see 25-point
well.
comeback against Utah. Utah.
Good to see. Did they win though?
As I said, 25-point comeback.
Oh, nice. That's good for them.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Clippers team's a little whack, is it not?
Yeah, pretty whack. I don't really know what they're up to. I really don't keep up with the Clippers.
I don't really blame you. It's Paul George, right? Who's played only 27 games this whole season. Okay. Norman Powell. Remember when we were talking about like, oh, they won the trade, kind of, or was it won the? Yeah, they won the trade, right? Because they got like Norman Powell.
Stole the trade.
And you remember he only played 2 games. Then I told you he was out for the whole year. You might not even remember that, but yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's been out since they traded for him, and he played 2 games, 2 or 3 games. And then the day before Valentine's Day, he was like, dude, it's literally a toe injury, but he's out indefinitely, so he hasn't played in over a month and a half. So I don't know what's going on, but so they have Paul George, they have Reggie Jackson, who's honestly the cornerstone of that entire team. He's actually so good. He's unironically good.
Facts.
Well, I don't know. His PER this season actually blows, but I don't really care about that. For him, at least. I feel like he has such a good
only
impact.
matters for good players.
Yeah, this is his...
Good as in, like, really good.
He's having his best offensive season since some Detroit 2015 days. So, I mean, he's doing really good. And he's also, like, saucing up players. So it's Reggie Jackson, Paul George now, Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, who's, like, their white boy sniper. Zubac is their center. And remember last year, Terrence Mann in the postseason?
Did he pop off?
Wasn't it him? Was it him or was it somebody else?
I don't think it was Terrence Mann. I thought it was Reggie Jackson.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Terrence Mann. Everyone was talking about Terrence Mann. He had like 1 game last season in the postseason. I think it was literally just 1 game. On God, it was 1 game. But it like single-handedly like. Wait, I'm looking right now.
See anything here?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's that 1 game. He dropped 39 on Utah.
That's pretty gas.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just going through the players right now, which is whatever. But yeah, the Clippers are guaranteed 8. I would say they're guaranteed. So I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, we will talk about like the sleepers and stuff. So I'm interested to see like what kind of sleepers we have. But okay, so now we're getting down to it's basically the big 3. So there's 3 other teams fighting for 2 spots. Right now it's currently New Orleans, San Antonio, and then Lakers. So 2 of those 3 are gonna make it and play each other, but one of those 3 is going to Cancun. So who do you have as your 9?
My number 9 is Pelicans.
Yeah, I do too. They're only a game ahead of the Spurs and the Lakers. But I feel like it's not even about the game. It's kind of just about like the schedule that they have remaining.
Yeah, true.
I mean, look, they play.
Look at it.
They play Blazers twice.
They
play
Warriors,
Kings.
Grizzlies.
Those last 2 are tough. Don't get me wrong.
Those are tough, but
But
the ones before that are
they play Blazers twice,
great.
the Kings, a Clippers team, and that has Paul George. So that's gonna be a hard one. But the Lakers game, I was like, you know what? Because the Lakers they're that team where I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, yeah, dude, any team could freaking actually dog on the Lakers. And then I'm also like, but the Lakers are the Lakers. Like, they can just like make stuff happen sometimes for no reason. And so, but then I was thinking about it. The Pelicans are 2-0 this season against the Lakers. And somebody tells me that the Lakers are not a team that likes to figure things out. So I feel like they'll probably beat the Lakers this Friday and sweep the season series.
I would have to disagree just because I just need my copium at maximum level. I just have to disagree. Yeah, it's pretty rough, but I think LeBron could bust out a few wins to get in the play-in.
Well, that was the issue. They played the Pelicans and the Lakers played on Sunday, and the Pelicans
Oh,
won,
yeah, they
and
got
that was because LeBron didn't
smacked.
play. No,
He
it
didn't
wasn't
play?
a smack. No. Remember LeBron? He sat out that game. He was like an injury or something.
Was this the Westbrook game?
Um.
Just him played, right?
Oh, wait, no. LeBron didn't play yesterday.
LeBron played for that one, because, yeah, he did play that one. He did not play yesterday,
Yes, that's what it
and
was.
they got smacked once again.
Yeah, who did they even play? Oh, Dallas. Yeah, Luka put up a triple-double before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, Luka's pretty good.
Yeah,
You know.
it was not even close. I mean, Lakers have lost 3 in a row. So, like... Okay, whatever. So, we both have the Pelicanos, which I'm very happy about if they do make it. Even if they somehow, like, fall to the 10. If they just make it, I'm happy because, again, like, Pelicans are my third favorite. And I'm just kind of glad to see them because last year, not being in the playoffs kind of sucked for them. But I feel like that CJ McCollum trade really did them justice. If they didn't have CJ, I don't even think we're here talking about potential Pelicans. If they didn't get CJ. So. It's good
Good
stuff.
trade for him.
It was like Josh Hart, remember? Like some other bum things, but yeah.
Yeah. I think, alright. The 10 is so copium for me. Maximum cope. Right? Alright, listen. Listen.
I'll listen. I'll hear you out. Just
Alright.
talk. So because we have right now, Vivian, the same 1 through 9.
Yeah.
In the West. So
Assume you
it
don't have
maybe
the
could be
same
the
10.
10. No, it could be the same 10. So
Alright.
I'm gonna hear you out.
So,
Go ahead.
my number 10 is the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen. I think as people have probably have come to realize that I like LeBron, right? People say I'm a Lakers fan. This is not true. I'm a LeBron fan.
No, it's
I
copium.
don't like the Lakers. I like LeBron, right? Here's the thing. I think with the remaining games that they're playing, I think they could scrap out some wins and get to a 10 seed. I think Lakers are the 10 seed. I think that's what will happen. The thing is, though, the route getting there is not too easy. They play the
Let's
Nuggets.
break it down.
Tomorrow they play the Jazz, then they play the Pelicans, and then they play the Nuggets, and then they play the Suns, and then they play the Warriors, and then they play the Thunder, and then they play the Nuggets again. So they play really hard. They have a really hard schedule. They do.
Let's break it down one by one. Tomorrow,
Right.
in
Play the
Utah,
Jazz.
who wins?
I think the Lakers will win that one. I think I can scrap something out.
Okay,
I
so that's
LeBron will
one.
go crazy.
Right?
I think they'll do that.
That's one. Next
The
one.
Pelicans, I think
Pelicans.
they could win against them. I think they could
Okay,
do that.
so they got 2 up on them right now. Is what you're telling me? Okay.
Yep.
Don't tell me
the-
think. This is your prediction right now on air. All right.
Yeah,
Third game at
the
home,
third
Denver.
game, Nuggets Lakers, right? I think this one is definitely up for grabs either way. I think they can scrap out a win at home though.
Okay. Next one
After that,
on the road
Denver,
against Phoenix.
they lose.
Okay.
Don't we have to worry about it. They're not
All
winning.
right. In
happening.
Chase Center.
Chase Center, I think they can scrap out a win. I
Okay.
think they can do it.
Home
The
against
Thunder, they'll
Thunder.
beat the Thunder.
Okay. And then last one on the road
Last
against
one,
Denver.
same thing, up for grabs. Could go either way, but I think they'll probably lose that one. Towards the end of the season, players
Okay.
retired, and they'll lose that one.
Okay. So right now you have them going 5-2 to finish the season, which is strong.
It's strong, but yeah, I needed to make the playoffs.
That's strong. So you have them finishing 36 and 46. So that would have to. I mean, but the only way then if the Spurs. So what you're saying then is if the Lakers. This is your prediction, right? So if you have the Lakers going 5-2, then even if the Spurs finish out 4-3, then the Lakers still get in,
It's good.
which is
I-
good. But do you really
I-
do you really believe that they're going to go 5-2 in the next 7?
Probably not, but it's a really copium take, like it's kind of like I'm hoping, I have
Fair.
the Pelicans cheek so that they can make it in, but I don't think they will.
I don't want the Pelicans to cheek.
Yeah, Pelly fan. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so well, let me just tell you then. Believe it or not, I actually did put down the Lakers as my 10.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
For literally no other reason other than the fact, like I think they're a good team? Absolutely not. I actually don't think they're deserving of the playoffs. I think LeBron needs to just really spend a season in Cancun and thinking about like what he's actually going to do with this team because this is not it. Okay. Because Le GM needs to step it up. This is a horrible job. This is a disaster class by Le GM. All right. And so I don't think they should make it. But it's just the fact that they are the Lakers. They are LeBron. And even if I hate to say it, right? This man Russell, I think like very, very recently, hasn't been doing bad at all on the offensive end. Like he's been holding his own weight. It's just kind of like the rest of the team blows. Because like remember the whole stretch where we were talking about like, oh my god, Westbrook can't even put up 20 points.
He is. I think he is now.
Yeah, these last like 6 games, he's put up 20 at least in 5 of the last 6. You know, he's consistently getting like anywhere between 6 to 11 assists a game. And his rebounds are obviously still there. I mean, we're never really questioning his like on paper statistics, you know. But then also like again, like remember it was whole thing with like West Brick, obviously, right? Like he doesn't shoot the ball well. His last 5 games, he shot 50% or higher from the floor in every game, and they've only won 1 game out of those 5. And that's why, and that's what I'm saying. Like he's been kind of holding it. At least he's doing his own thing on the offensive end, and he's not shooting it. He's shooting it a decent amount, like anywhere between like 14 to 20. But it's just kind of like who else do the Lakers have been? Like, come playoff time, you need depth. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you can disagree with me.
You need depth, yeah.
I know, but you can't just have you can't have Braun carry anymore. Clearly, evidently, bro.
Clearly, they can't even have Braun carry in the regular season.
Because teams are actually good.
Yeah, it's just depressing, man. What can what can I say?
I don't know. You're the one here. I mean, I don't want to see the Lakers in. I just have them at 10 because I just think I don't know what it is. I feel like the Spurs, they're so weird. Like, do I think it'd be great for the Spurs to make the postseason? Yeah, but do I feel like they really would it benefit them to make the postseason? On a real.
They're rebuilding. Should they really be going for that?
It would be good. It's good for playoff experience. The issue is like, you know. I mean, there's a difference now, obviously, because there is a play-in, so you could still be a play-in team while also having a lottery pick if you lose. Like, they could be a play-in team and then just not make it to the actual playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And that's still experience, at least to a degree. Like, you're playing playoff basketball. So maybe they have like that to go for. Maybe they're like trying to at least, because then they can still get like a higher end of pick. But if they don't make, the thing is, like, if you don't make the play-in, like if you're that 11 to 15, you're guaranteed a top 10 pick. So it just depends on what matters more. But like again, like it's old debate of it's like, you know, is it whatever's best for the organization. But do you think the players actually care? The players are trying to win, bro. The players are not out there trying to lose.
Players, I've seen this. We've seen it before a lot, where like the organization's like, we're tanking, and the players are like, why are we tanking? You see this with the process. Remember the Sixers?
Yeah, Philly.
Went for, like the majority of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Process. You know, and we're gonna keep losing, so we can get good draft picks, and then eventually be good. But players hate that, right?
Yeah.
Because like everyone wants to lose, regardless of what's happening. No one wants to lose, right? And it develops like a losing culture in that team. Right? They never develop playoff experience. They never experience like that winning culture. But honestly, despite all that, I still think they probably should not be. Like what? I mean, I guess what pick do they get if they're like out of the playoffs?
Who? Oh, like if they don't make the play-in?
Yeah.
They got a top 10 pick.
Top 10 pick. Okay. And what do they get if they're in the play-in?
Well, if they lose in one of the playing games, they're still gonna get a lottery pick. But if they actually make it as like one of the top 8, like if they actually make it to playoffs, then obviously they're not gonna be a lottery pick. So
that's not what they should be doing then. Honestly, they might just be better off tanking. Like, why not try to get that top 10 pick, which would help you a lot more than just some playoff series where you're gonna lose in the first round anyways. Like, you're not getting anything from that. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably just better for them to just give up.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually have the same 10s that we have, just so everyone's aware: Suns, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Warriors, Nuggets, Jazz, and then Timberwolves, Clippers, Pelicans, and Lakers in the play-in. So how they would play it right now would just be like, I guess, it'd be Pelicans versus Lakers. So who would you have in that one?
LA.
Okay, and then Timberwolves Clips.
The Clippers can do that one.
You think so?
Check it out. If PG plays, yeah.
Yeah, he'll play.
I think
Well,
they got
assuming
it.
he plays, obviously, right? You know. So you think the Clippers would just Paul George on the road in Minnesota? They think they get that one game?
I think they could do it.
All
I
right.
think they
So
could.
then, all right. So then, then the Clippers would get in. So then the deciding game would be T-Wolves Lakers.
Lakers again. I just have to.
Yeah. I'm sitting here right now. I'm telling you, like the Lakers might make that 10 seed. I don't even see the Lakers winning a single playing game. I'm not even gonna lie.
Really?
Nah, I don't see them. I think the Lakers get a lotto pick.
Dang.
So.
They didn't even have a pick, bro. I don't think they have a pick.
Oh yeah, true. I don't even know. Well, yeah, whatever. Last thing I want to touch on because we're gonna actually a good idea. We're gonna split this video in half again. Okay. So we do the West now. We'll do the East one in the next one. And last thing I want to touch on, just really quick. We don't have to spend time at all. I just Googled something, and it's about the Kings. Because remember how the whole Sabonis trade? They're like, yeah, we're winning out, and they were gonna make the push for the playoffs. They are 5-10 with Sabonis.
Wow. Awful.
They're not making the playoffs, obviously. Oh, we already know that. But like, they're kind of like no one's really giving them flack right now because they're kind of just everyone's more focused on the teams that are actually going to try to make it. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty weird. I mean, what?
Let me. Has he even been like? Is he even like putting up good points? What is
How's
his
he been
points?
playing? Yeah, has he been playing well?
He's been
bad?
averaging like 19 a game.
So mid.
He's been averaging. Oh wait, wait, no, not 19. Wait, can I not see this? Hold on, give me a second. I almost trolled. Okay, we're talking like. Oh, I guess he is averaging like 19, huh?
Not the worst, but like for what they traded for.
Yeah. Yeah, Sabonis in the 15 games he's played is putting up 19, 12, and 6. Good. It's good.
But they gave up their future Halliburton for that.
I actually don't think the Kings really did. Again, I'm not going to stand by my take from before. I don't really think the Kings did that bad. But whatever. All right, that's all we're going to talk about.
But yep.
So that's the West. We have the exact same. So ours will probably definitely be different in the East. So if you guys want to see that, tune into the next one. So, all right, Vivian, you can take us out.
Yeah, I think we had a great discussion today. Talked about a lot of good things. I enjoyed that. And I know the East is going to be a lot more different. I'll tell you that, because East is very close. Like the standings, so that'll be a good video. But yeah, if you want to see that, stay tuned for the next one. And thank you guys so much for watching this or listening, And yeah, peace.
See ya.